Okay, you guys, happy Tuesday. Heather and I talk every day, brainstorming and picking each other's brains and just doing all the things. And some days as a leader, and you'll have to bear with me, I have ringing in this ear, so I'm echoing to myself. So if I repeat something or don't say something right, just bear with me. Sometimes I don't want to use the word burnt out, but sometimes you just need a content break. Like all day we are creating, and we're going to talk about tonight kind of a mishmash of like systems, how I got 14 recruits, what you guys should do. And so I said to her today, our team calls it at the same time. Why don't we just kind of join forces, and I'll take you guys into mine, because last week I was on yours and I brought my team in, and sometimes you need that, and that's okay. So I didn't know exactly what I was going to talk about tonight, but then as I looked around, I realized after doing this 11 years, and I want to share with you guys a little bit, my team as well. I have people that have come back, left, started over, are in a funk. Every week, it never fails, we'll be on a training call and someone will say, I'm in a funk. I don't know why. I'm just blah. I don't see, like, you guys know the difference. And you can probably shake your head when you're like, you'll have those days where you're like jumping out of bed. You've thought of a bazillion things. You can't wait to start. You're like, you're going to do your follow-up system and you're going to get your binders in and you're going to do all the things. And then some days you're like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing today. And that will go on for a couple of days, right? And you're like, how do I get out of this funk? My first piece of advice to any of you, all of you, is that is common. It will happen more times than not. My number one piece of advice is when that does happen, to dive in to training, not even just Sensi training, podcasts, books, audiobooks, all the things that can fill your brain, because someone somewhere is saying something that's going to lift you up. It could be positivity. It could be just training. It could be clearing your mind. For probably starting in 2015, I was severely suffering from, I have a thyroid issue, and I was severely suffering from extreme brain fog. I'm telling you, I was a compliance director for a large financial services company. And so my brain works in lists and systems and document forms and all the things. And I couldn't even tell you what I was supposed to be doing on a daily basis. Even if I had a list, I would make a list, I would come in and look at it and not know what I was supposed to be doing. It was a funk that went on and on and on and on and on, from low energy to depression to just brain fog. If you've ever experienced it, will make you feel crazy, because things that you normally do every single day, I wouldn't remember how to do. I wouldn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I couldn't even imagine having a list of what I do on my team pages, or how I would tackle recognition or doing all of the things. Luckily, I've taken the steps to kind of help that, and I'm on supplements and clean eating and all of the things that I had to do. So it's gotten significantly better. However, in 2017, we moved to this house, and I've accumulated, see this ringing, a lot of stuff. There's something that a direct sales consultant or a Sensi consultant will do, and a lot of us, and I know there's a few of it that say, not me, I don't keep anything, but a lot of us like to hoard. It's a known problem. Like, we will go to Target and we'll go to the dollar store and we will order on Sensi Success, and we don't even know why we need the things that we're getting, but we get them anyway. In some instances, it can be a great thing, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that tonight. In some instances, you get bogged down with a lot of stuff in your office, a lot of stuff around you. And for me, that was crowding my productivity. So in probably March, I started tackling my office, and I've had a bazillion offices over 11 years. And I was like, I need to understand how my brain works and what my weaknesses are and what works for me and what doesn't. We have a lot of new consultants, and a lot of you that are probably looking for that perfect blueprint out there. I'm here to tell you there's no perfect blueprint. You are going to add things and change things and take away things and add them back in again and try them again, because someone's got 10 recruits in a month and someone's not doing something, and you're going to change it again, but it works for her, but it doesn't work for me, and I don't understand. You really need to take a look at how your brain works. Is it an Excel spreadsheet type of brain? Mine's not. Me and Heather both agree. Like, we have our friends that are like Excel spreadsheet, and we can see the usefulness in it and the information it can give us. But both of us are like, you figure it out, you do the Excel spreadsheet. When it's done, we'll use it. Like, we just don't work that way. It doesn't work for me. And I did compliance and social media for 14 years. It should work that way. But I hate them. For me, it's a lot of information in one place. And if it gives me an outcome, then I will use the sheet. But for me, follow up on Excel spreadsheet, nope, can't do it. Even Amy for me, you guys, and here's where I want to put little parentheses. If you don't have a follow-up system, you need to be using Amy, right? So like, use Amy until you figure out something better. And for me, I did that when Amy came out. I was like, great, this is at least going to help me with my brain fog and see names and be consistent. But I wanted to get a little bit deeper in that. So, and we'll come back to my follow-up system and what I do. And I have another video on YouTube that I just did all about my follow-up systems and my follow-up binders and what's in there. So I won't get in a lot into that, but I will tell you guys, using the system, how I turned, I don't even know, a pile of people in my other binder from my VIP group into consultants. How I roll out the red carpet, even for people who haven't ordered in a year. And then those follow-ups turn into $150, $200 orders almost every single time. So I'll share that with you. But first, I want to tell you that you need to be on a search for systems in your office, systems in your area. I don't care if you're using a kitchen table and one of these little carts back here, you know, that's your office. You just need your own place, whether that's rolling something out or moving it. I've even seen desks, and these are the coolest things ever. On Wayfair, they're desks that fold up into the wall, and that you attach them to the wall and they come down so that you have a little desk in your office. You can get a little a little desk in your bedroom, a little vanity, a little corner, whatever, someplace that you can call your own, because I know tons of people that use a couple of these carts with everything that they need. And that's it. The biggest thing with systems is you need to find your systems. You need to be you. You guys are going to, I know for a fact, I send my team a ton of videos, a ton of rock stars, and they're looking at this system and that chart and that system. And Heather and I were on Zoom one night, and I was like, see all those papers across my other desk that you guys can't see? It was all trackers of like every consultant under the sun. A dream team tracker and a sample making tracker and a annual tracker and daily numbers tracker and all of the trackers, and everything had a little bit of something. So I started spreading everything out, and I piled up all the monthly trackers, all the weekly trackers, all the dream team trackers. I piled them all up, and I started making a list of everything that was on each one in a way that the system would work for me. Even what I have in place, I can share with you guys, and I can show you. The bigger point of this is what I did is the same thing I did when I wanted to promote to director. I found a picture of the first reunion, and I believe it was at Heidi Norville's house. All of the superstar directors, or maybe it was just superstar director. I don't even know, but it was a picture of them at Heidi Norville's house. There was probably 30 of them there. And I wrote down all of their names, and I started checking to see if they had training on YouTube or checking to see if they had a website. And I got a notebook, and I just started making notes under each person's name. And I started writing down things that they were doing in their business. And then I went back through and I highlighted all of the things that I wanted to apply to my business. I want you guys to know that my system and Heather's system and Callie's system and Melissa Gratz's system and Chloe's system and all these people that you hear, they all have their own systems. It might not be the system for you, because the only system that's going to work is the one that you're consistent with. So you can't be stuck in this black hole where you're like, but it works for her, but it works for her, but it works for her. If you're not working the system every day, whatever it is, whether it's follow-up, tracking your frontline, tracking your directors, pulling reports, doing all of the things, then it's just that system doesn't work for you. You need to find a new one, or you need to tweak it, or you need to maneuver it however you want to, so that it works for you, because no system is going to work if you can't be consistent. And that's true. And I kept looking at Maven, the system that I'm supposed to tell all of my consultants to get, and I do. And I kept seeing 113 little notifications, 118 notifications, and 200 notifications. I'm like, clearly Maven is not working for me because I'm not even opening it up. But I started seeing some things that it wasn't doing for me. I like really knowing each and every customer. And I found myself going into this like blank place where I would just go copy, paste, send, copy, paste, send, copy, paste, send. And I wasn't really paying attention. Did this customer buy last month? What did they buy? Are they someone that was are they someone that's a VIP that could turn into a consultant? Were they with a past direct sales company? Like I wanted to focus on each customer. And my biggest thing is something that I learned in all of my social media training. I say it over and over and over again, is it's way easier to keep the customers you have than find new ones. And I think Brandy's on here. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be, we had this conversation this week, that doesn't mean you shouldn't find new customers. What it means is we shouldn't rule out people that haven't bought in a year and say, oh, well, I'm only going to focus on my 3-month people. So I'm big into creating almost a game for myself and trying to get everyone that orders every month or within a 3-month system to reorder. And I will share that with you from my binders. So you have to decide what type of person you are. Are you a pen and paper system? Are you a digital person? Are you a digital techie, but you like some pen and paper? And so I gave myself grace and I said, okay, I'm going to figure out for each system what works for me. And I'm very techie and I love I've tried Trello and all of these things. Trello is a great project board for me. We use it for Join in June and all the things that we're doing, but it doesn't work great for a follow-up system. I have consultants that love Trello for a follow-up system. So my point tonight is to make sure that you are identifying, trying new things, and is it working? Is it successful? Are you getting sales? Are you following up every single day? Are you doing what the system is put in place for you to do? And then being okay with saying, okay, this really doesn't work. It doesn't matter if that superstar director or that one's doing it. It doesn't work for me. My brain doesn't work that way. Like some of these, I was just looking at an Excel spreadsheet that someone did and it's gorgeous. I was like, God, I would love to just plug in my stuff there, but I know I won't access that. For me, a lot of things in different binders, I know some people love the happy planner, right? And so Dawn says, I'm a little of both depending on what I'm tracking, right? And that's when I had to say to myself, I'm going to be okay because I don't leave the house. So I don't need a big planner with everything in it that I take with me. And at first it was really hard for me to go, oh, but everyone has a happy planner and everyone has everything all in one spot. And I should do that too. You guys don't have to do that if it's not something you open every single day. So to me, in my happy planner, I need to mainly focus on this week's calendar. Like this is the new week and I was on vacation, but all my stuff from last week, but I like this open. I like that I'm not going to flip through it. These are like extra forms and things back here and trainings that I have. But for the most part, my week calendar is open. In fact, I push my keyboard in and the last thing I do before I go to bed is I make sure that I'm listing out like who I'm doing training for. Do I have training coming up? Are there top 5 things that I need to do? I even tried like a day designer list, which is more of a planner where it's just sheets and you list like 50 things on, as many as you can fit. And that didn't work for me either because I'm like, okay, I'm only getting 2 things done on this list and there's 48 left. And now I'm just feeling overwhelmed and like a failure. So although I love making lists, when your lists get too long and you don't complete all of those, you'll find yourself kind of it turning into a mishmash of stuff. So recognize that too, because I'm both techie, digital, and I like to highlight things off. So I use my happy planner for mainly trainings or printouts. I have a note section in the front of this in case I'm listening to something and want to take notes. But then for the most part, I leave it on the week that I'm on. And I also have these labels with the things that I want to randomly do during the month that I can check. Post top 10s, check potential recruits, check my frontline, send welcome emails. So those are things that I'm going to do every single week. Then these are the things that will be scheduled, whether it's the director's call, training call, but this stays open. why I like it open is because I can keep glancing at it. I found and I recognize that if I have all these trackers in there, I'm not going to flip through everything and then I'm going to forget what I'm supposed to be doing on that day. So this for me, again, because I stay home, is my happy planner. It stays open and it's kind of like a teacher's plan. What it reminds me of for me is, how the teachers plan their day the next day of what they have to do, what lessons they're doing. This stays open all the time. What else is in it? Again, trainings that I found, compensation plan, I have some blank team training sheets that I have to plan out my trainings, but for the most part, I use it just to stay on that week. Do I use Google Calendar? Somewhat, but Google Calendar will pop up, and I'm usually doing stuff on 2 screens on my computer. So unless I had a separate screen that just had my Google Calendar open, I would forget to even look of what was coming up for me. So for me, I recognize that the system that works for me is to have something open all the time that I can look at and make it a habit to put the stuff in my top 5 or 6 things that I need to finish every single day before I go to bed. So literally it could be 1:30 in the morning when I'm done, if I'm done in here, my quiet time. And I shut everything down. And the last thing I do is push my keyboard in and I pencil in things that I'm going to be doing. So, today it said we had a leadership Zoom that we had to do. I had to create some postcards, top 25, schedule the Zoom call for this one, schedule my leadership call, tracker, which I'll get into. So that was the first thing that I realized for myself. And it was hard because I was like, but everyone has a cute little happy planner and everything has to be in it. And I get that. If you're leaving for work every day and everything needs to be in one spot, that will work for you. I saw someone else use the digital planner on the iPad where you insert all of your forms and you can fill everything in right there. Again, weirdly, I find myself not wanting to flip through all of the pages to find stuff. Like I need to be able to grab and it needs to be easy access, because if I put stuff away and stick stuff in places, I won't use it and I won't be consistent. So just because the Happy Planner works in a certain way, and that is why I like the Happy Planner, because you can create your own. You can decide what you need. And so I decided I was going to have a Happy Planner just for that, just for my calendar every single day. I wasn't going to have a screen with my Google Calendar up. I was going to create that just for me. Don't be afraid to adjust. Don't be afraid to watch a video, try something. And if it doesn't work, you need to be okay with recognizing that that system doesn't work for you. And then using it as inspiration and creating your own system, or finding something else that does. I've tried everything under the sun for different ways. And so far, this is probably the most organized that I felt in 11 years. Another great tip is to let go of the things that you no longer use. For some of us, I know that putting up all of your accomplishments everywhere and every single reunion warmer and all of the things, that just brings you absolute joy. If it does, more power to you. That's what you should do, because that motivates you and inspires you. If you see that in people's offices, don't think that that's what you have to do. For me, I need more white space. Like I need to come in and feel like I know exactly where things are, and I'm not motivated by certificates and all of the stuff everywhere. I'd rather take a picture, and if I need to look at it, I'll look at it. We're all different. My point is that you can be a paper and pencil person. You can be a digital person. You can be half and half. You can be both. You can be whatever. Don't get consumed with the hundreds of thousands of systems out there. And because someone's a superstar director and they're getting a $10,000 paycheck and they're recruiting 10 people a month, that doesn't necessarily mean that their system's going to work for you. I really thought that I could be no paper and be totally digital. And I just found that it just didn't work for me. Like I need to be able to write things down. I retain it better. It stays in my brain better. It helps me remember people better. It allows me to go through and kind of cross things off and spend a minute with each person or each customer or each team member so that I remember them and can retain everything. So I like the idea of trackers, right? Like, again, some people, for customer follow-up, they would want everything on a tracker. for me, I wanted everyone to have an individual sheet, kind of like back in the day. If you guys have done this before, people used to use like an index box, and they would put everyone on an index card and put them alphabetically. But my brain said, well, if they're alphabetically, that doesn't tell me when they order. Like their information's in there by A, B, C, D, but that doesn't tell me quickly when they order and what's going on. So I sat one night and I was, looked at the binder system and Amy, and I still have Amy. Like I use it for some notifications, but it's not my go-to, because again, my goal was to make sure that my customers came back and bought again from me. However, I needed to make that happen. So I'll post the video for you guys on Heather's group and my group. My group's probably already seen it, but I wanted a binder system because I wanted to be able to quickly look at who I sent happy mail to. That was initially what it started at. And doing the follow-up on the 3-month, the 2-month, however that worked, the order forms in general. Like, here's the funny thing. Order forms don't work for me in a follow-up system because the lines are too small and I have bubble handwriting. And the second anything's messy, I don't like to use it anymore. That's why I've tried every planner under the sun. I've tried, Erin Condren, all of the things. The minute it looks messy to me, I want a whole new one. And those puppies aren't cheap. What, $100 or something for a planner? No. So that's why the double-sided happy planner works for me, because that gives me all that room on each side to write whatever I need to write, whether it's a coaching call with someone or a leadership or a vacation or whatever I want to put in there. So my follow-up system is when I sat down and I was like, I need a system that's going to tell me in 3 months, which is how I base my happy mail. I do have exceptions, which I'll talk about, is I wanted a quick glance of who I'm sending happy mail to. And, the way I tell my customers for the most part is if you purchase them within 3 months, you will get your happy mail. You'll get happy mail for 3 months, and then you purchase again and you continue to get happy mail. So I wanted to quickly be able to go, okay, as they place an order, I'll move them into that month. And that way I can say, okay, in June, Leora Curtis, Patty Duncan, Rakhi, all of these people are going to get happy mail because they placed an order. It wasn't based on follow-up or anything. I wanted to be able to get as many people from the past June to be reordering and get into this binder. So it's almost turned into a game for me. Now, when I showed this to some of my team members, people were like, oh no, that's too much work. And I will say this, when I first created these sheets, it was like a lot of work, but it really helped me go, okay, I haven't really had a relationship building conversation with this person in a while, so each person, and you can see, each person would get their own sheet with their phone number. The phone number would tell me, okay, I've entered them in my phone, because you want all your customers in your phone. You want to be able to use quick texting services. And there's something more personable about having your customers in your phone rather than Facebook, Instagram, all the things. It just feels a little bit closer knit having them in there. So writing their phone number in here told me, yes, they're in my phone. That just programmed my brain to put them in there as a customer. Next, I wanted to be able to quickly recognize, can I see that? Are they VIP? Are they in Scentsy Club? Have they hosted, or did they join my team? My goal is to get every single customer in my VIP group. So on any given day, say on Monday, I can say, okay, I'm going to flip through and make sure I'm going to touch base with every person that's not highlighted VIP and see if I can get them in my VIP group. Why? Because that's your golden ticket, you guys, to talk about. Your group is where you can talk about Scentsy all day long, all night long, everything Scentsy, smell reviews, things coming up, promos, cheering yourself on, cheering your team. You can do whatever you want in your VIP group because they've said, yes, I'd like to join, fully knowing that it's going to be all Scentsy every day with a little bit of whatever flair you want to put in there. So you want people in your VIP group. They're the ones that love Scentsy, and they're going to build that loyal following with you. So something that I always do is if I get a new customer, I always say to them, hey, thanks so much for your business. I so appreciate you. I'd love to send you some happy mail. Be sure you click my VIP link so I can send you a goodie bag to go out. Now, of course, I'm going to send them a little goodie, something in the mail, no matter what. But this is the step before that gets them to press that VIP link so that they join my VIP group, thinking that that's the only way they're going to get goodie mail. It works 95% of the time. I have almost all of my customers in here in my VIP group. The ones that are a little bit harder are if they are with a fundraiser. That's a little bit more difficult because I didn't build a personal relationship with them. They're just ordering from a fundraiser. So it's my goal to get them in there. And my video explains this a little bit more. So here in this binder is March to last July, because this one got too full. So all I have in here now is April and May and the ones that I've gotten from June so far. So my goal is to always start back. Everyone from June last year has already reordered. From July, I have 4 left that I have to get into this month. And then I start with August, where there's only 5 left. So 5 customers that ordered last month. And last August, and I know I had at least 20, 25, maybe 30 have already reordered. I only have 5 left. This gives me a quick, these are the people I might send an extra little goodie to. I reached out for 20 people who hadn't ordered in over a year. And I said, how are things going? I think we posted this as an example. How are things going? I know it's crazy right now. Do you need anything, a new catalog, or is there something I can send you to brighten your mailbox? And tons of people responded back. I could have just sent them a catalog, but in cleaning my office, I had a lot of older bars. So I just wrote them a card that said, enjoy this bar from my vault, meaning it's a little bit older, still smells fine, and some goodies in this bag. I hope it brightened your mailbox. That's it. I didn't ask for a sale, ask for anything. Over a couple days, as they got those goodie bags, I got $158 from order from one customer, a $200 order from another. 3 people said they're going to place an order. These are all people that hadn't placed an order in almost a year. So I'm not saying you have to buy bars and send them to everyone that's over a year, but if you've been doing this a little while, or you start to get stock or scent circles or little things that you've gotten free, don't rule out sending something to someone that already placed an order. It can be something as small as just some samples or a scent circle, just something to brighten their mailbox just because that's 5 or 6 pretty big orders that I wouldn't have had, and way easier than me on Facebook, hey, can I be your Scentsy consultant? You've never ordered from me before. Hey, can I be your Scentsy consultant? That's because these people that have ordered from you already trust you. So, I have one binder that's customer current. That's usually 2 or 3 months. Right now it's only 2 because I had too many orders. And then this is everything else, which goes to show you guys, if you're doing this right, this is the 2 or 3 months. This is all I have for the rest of the year, which means all of these people have reordered. And all I do, there's no real rhyme or reason. I will just, put their information on here. I list their orders on here, and then Post-it notes on my friend, different colors, 523 Facebook message, 524, she messaged me back. And I'll just flip through and kind of see when I've talked to these people. And in my brain, I know my current customers have already gotten happy mail. I've already probably sent them some goodies. So some days I'm okay, I'm going to start focusing again on these people that haven't ordered in the last 3 months. See if I can strike up conversation. See if I can let them know, bring back my bars back. So this just gives me a quick, easy way to really turn to each person, focus on them, figure out if their phone numbers on my phone, figure out if they're VIP, talk about club a lot with Bring Back My Bar this month. It gives me a quick look, and it allows me to personalize each and every message to each person. I'm really good, I think, at communication online, but even with Amy, I found that it was even to adjust every text, it didn't feel authentic to me. I felt like I was just grabbing a message and posting it, and I would try to backspace and make it sound real, but it just didn't based on our last conversation. And then you have to go in and adjust it anyway. So I wanted something that was dove in a little bit further, and I wanted to really make sure that I focused on getting people to buy more than once with me. And so that's what this does. This has worked wonders for me. I mean, I'm well above, I've been well above since I've gotten consistent with this, over 3,000 PRV just following up with my customers. I get a lot of new customers from Instagram, and I have a separate binder for, I think I showed Heather a pile of 14 or 15 people in the last, I don't know, probably 6 months that were in my VIP binder that have joined my team. Because I've had those private conversations with them. Now, Some of you could look at this and go, heck no, no way. There's no way I'm doing paper and pen like that. Like, I'm not doing a sheet for every single person. That's okay. Go to your Excel spreadsheet, go to Trello, go to whatever you can recognize that you will follow up with. I was consistent with Amy, and it's not bad. It's just I wanted to dive a little bit deeper in, and I wanted to see people at a quick glance, and I wanted a way not to use an Excel spreadsheet. So how I turned some of them, and here's another point that I talked to Heather today about talking to you guys. It's really important that when you have VIPs that join your team, that you leave almost the lines of communication open where they feel comfortable that if this doesn't work out when they join, that they can always come back and be one of your VIPs. So if I pulled them out of my book and they've turned into someone who've joined my team, they're in my Join My Team book as just a way so that I can recognize them, because then they go to my Frontline Binder. So that if this doesn't work out, I can grab their sheet again and put it right back in and say, hey, I know, you might have gone inactive right now. It just might not be the time for you. I'll add you back to my VIP group. And if you ever want to get started again, you can go right to the workstation and jump in. It is very true that some people go radio silent, you guys, if you don't open the lines of communication as far as letting them know that they're not a failure if this doesn't work. Like a lot of people within themselves, like if they quit or they disappear or they just don't take this where they thought they would take it, that they feel really guilty and really bad. And they feel like they kind of, like, oh, she's, they almost become not possible to be a VIP anymore because they just feel guilty and stuff. You just open those lines up and let them know, like, it's okay. Like, look, it's all about timing. It's all about when this is right for you. I'll add you back into my VIP group. I'll send you a little sample packet. When it's right for you, we can get you started again. That does a couple things. Takes the pressure off them. It also gets you that VIP back, right? And it also keeps the doors open if they ever want to come back and keeps them on your team. I think a lot of times people will go to a different, I've had this happen to me. They've gone to a different team, never said anything to me, but they want a fresh start because they feel guilty because they went radio silent the first time they tried. And I didn't say, hey, it's okay. Like I failed at 4 or 5 direct sales companies before it was perfect for me. So it's okay if this isn't the right time for you. Like, be a good VIP. Let's make you a fabulous host. Let's get you some free and half price stuff. And when you're ready, you can go in the workstation and reactivate for free. Like sometimes, believe it or not, the second time around, people do even better than they could ever imagine from the first time. It just depends on when the timing's right. It depends when you feel ready to go and you're ready to jump in and learn and you're not overwhelmed. So keep those lines of communication open and say to them, it's okay. Like, let's jump in, let's dive in, let's do what we can. If it doesn't work, you'll always be a super VIP to me, and I'm going to help you along the way every step. So I have a video of exactly how I filter, like the names of these is customer current and customers over 3 months. And it just allows me, when people order, I pull them out of that month and I move them to the current month. And my goal is to get everyone from this binder into this binder. It's almost like a little contest with me. So I might need 2-3 month binders if there's probably only 40 people left in this binder. And that's from March all the way to last July. So every day I can just reach out to people and flip through and make little notes. It works for me. Again, some of you might look at this and go, there's no freaking way. Like, I need something more digital that pops up and gives me a notification. That's okay. I found none of that stuff worked for me. And a great way to tell if it's working is if you start getting recruits, you start growing your VIP list, and you start getting PRV, and you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to work my binders today, or hey, I'm going to work Amy today. Just be able to recognize when it's working and when it's not, and find something new if it's not. My next thing, so that is my daily planner staying open, right? System 1, my follow-up system. System 2, then what I did is I cleaned out every drawer, got rid of all the stuff. Every drawer has a function. I'm going to do an office tour on Instagram. People have been asking me for it, like different ways that I've used, like a shoe rack behind my door. I watched a ton of videos on organizing Scentsy offices, and I probably pulled from like 20 people. Again, showing you that you're not going to use one system from one person. You have to pull what works for you, what's in your office. And I needed an easy way to grab and go. So I saw a couple things. The first thing is on my Instagram, I'll show you guys. And I had to get over my own self because I don't like a lot of stuff out in the open, like papers and stuff everywhere. So I'm like, well, unless my door's shut, no one's going to see it. So I just got one of those cloth shoe racks, two of the same size on one side. This has been a godsend. I did not think it would be. And then a bigger one at the end, and normally hold shoes, right? Which I can't stand those for shoes because I always have stuff flopping out of them. But they fit perfectly for all the brochures that we have. So if I have to do a packet or I'm putting together a thank you, I was just doing one for someone that I forgot. I went right to my door, grabbed all the brochures that I needed. They're already stamped, ready to go. I was like, this is freaking fabulous. Like, where was I trying to put all this stuff before? And it was falling in drawers and just the system didn't work. So I will snap a picture of it for you guys, but the laundry brochures, the join brochures, the start here brochures, like my personal brochures. And then the next one over is a perfect size for the showcase brochures, all the printouts for my welcomes for my team members. The product lists fit perfectly because they're a little bit bigger. Like that thing's great because everything current is right there and I can just grab and go. Some people might like bins and stuff like that to grab everything. Or I recently got, you guys can see them up there to hide stuff, those Target wooden bins up top there, little things to hide extra stuff you might not need every single day. So I'll take a picture of that. And then I put right in front of me, I just put a picture of it kind of on Instagram. It's one of those file folder racks so that I could easily grab my folders. Heather told me for her parties, which I did something like this, but she has a folder for every host, right? So now I have one of these file folder racks where I have a section with all my hosts. So my hosts are right there. Then I have a folder with my first 70-day people so that when I do coaching calls, I can grab those. Those are right there. That's not something I want to see in a binder. First 70-day people, I want to make sure I'm staying on top of them. So I want to see that folder. Then I have my inventory sheets in one. I always want to be checking to make sure I have the bars and all the things that I need to make samples. So that's there. And then something we implemented earlier this year for me, which has been 2 more binders, which sounds crazy. Some of you are like, I'd need all that in one place, is our Frontline Binder. Start this early, you guys. I'm sure Heather can share the sheet and it takes a little bit to stay up on, but it is simply a binder with, whether you have, whether you have 1 person or 50 or 500, it's a sheet for every single person so that you can track where they are, what they're doing in a business, and you can track when you have contact with them so that you know you're having touch points with all of your frontline. Your frontline and your team are the most important, right? It's a hard lesson that I've learned over probably the last 6 months, that Mama Hen was trying to take care of everybody. And now I have amazing leaders that can take care of their own teams, which means everyone underneath them that's not a director, they're frontline. If you have directors on your team, you need to let them start taking care of their team, and you start focusing on your frontline and the people that you need to promote to get to director. I mean, in all seriousness, guys, it's 4 frontline people at certified to get to director. Like, it's one of the, I won't say easiest, but better laid out compensation plans. And I've been with a few companies, and to get to director with a lot of companies is very difficult, very difficult. And so if you stay on top of your front line and get them through the first 70 days and teach them about the compensation plan and what they need to do, this is something that I wasn't doing, and I was just flying by the seat of my pants. So another system, right? So why these work for me, and some people would go, whoa, that's a lot of binders. This allows me to go, okay, today I'm working on frontline. I pull my frontline binder out, and this is what I'm working on. Today I'm working on customers. I pull these out. This is what I'm doing. When it was all in one, I just wasn't working it the way that I should. And trust me, I wanted the Happy Mail Planner to work. I wanted everything in one spot. I was just going to flip through, open it up, do all the things. It didn't. And I've been doing this 11 years to come to terms with the fact that, to admit to myself that everybody else's system is not what's going to work for me. And these last 2 or 3 months have been my most successful with Scentsy. So once you open your eyes and recognize, like, are you flipping hostesses? Are you touching base with your front line? You'll know when this stuff is working when you feel connected to your customers and you feel connected to your team. Like our team page has never been better. Like I feel like I'm having more and more conversations with my frontline. I'm getting stuff out in the mail. Like, because that builds community when you're having community with your customers, community with your team, and that's what grows your business. So the other thing that, remember the story that I told you of all the fancy trackers? Well, I decided I wanted one binder that was just all my trackers so that I could say, okay, it's 9 o'clock at night. It's time to fill out all my trackers for the day, whatever that may be. So I put together the ones that I've liked. Some still need to be adjusted. And some I still might not use, but this allows me to have all my trackers in one spot, starting with the annual tracker, of course. And then I went on vacation, so I have to catch this up, but my daily numbers, fill that out every day. You should be doing that in some form or another, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet. You want to be able to compare because you want to see your growth. Like there's nothing more motivating and inspirational than seeing what you did last year or seeing where your team was or what your paycheck was last year and where it was year over year over year, and writing down your numbers. Yes, you can pull it up quick in the workstation, but like right now, you want to be able to say, okay, on the 9th of the month last year, I was at 550 PRV. This year, I'm already at 752. Wow, I'm ahead of schedule. I'm doing okay. Like you want to be able to track that so that you know to dive into your follow-up binder again. You need more PRV, or you don't have any parties on the books. You need to flip some hostesses. Like writing things down step by step will tell you where you are and give you a good picture. And when I say writing, I mean typing, put it in whatever system works for you. So my daily numbers, yes, I have my follow-up system, but I also printed out a monthly order and follow-up log so that I could quickly write down orders. I wanted to be able to write them down fast to tell me either I need to update my follow-up system. Some things might be duplicated. You might think that it looks duplicated, but this gives me a quick glance of if I'm looking in the workstation, say, okay, so-and-so, this person placed orders. I need to jump in my customer binder and update those. So I added that in there. This one I love, I think is by Chastity. I'm kind of OCD, so I need to update it so it matches the others. But this is the daily habit tracker, stuff that you're going to do every single day. And this includes self-care, you guys, because you can't be the best leader, business owner, if you don't pay attention to how you feel every day. And that goes from mine include checking the news tab, checking my numbers, drinking my water. Like I am so committed to drinking water and recognizing that I don't get up from my desk to fill my water cup, that I fill like 5 water cups so that when one's empty, I can just grab the next one. Sounds funny, but you guys do what works. It doesn't even matter. If you have to fill 5 water cups to make sure you get a gallon of water in a day, you do that. If it's a gallon water jug by your desk, do that. You don't have to conform to someone else, whatever it is. If you work out better at night, work out at night. If you work out in the morning, work out in the morning. A lot of times it's just like, and I have to say this, a lot of people would tell me, like, you need to be a morning person. You need to be 5 a.m. person. My body says if it's still dark out, my butt needs to be in bed. Like I have learned to just be okay with that. And I'm not a morning person. I'm a night person. Like my brain works better. I like the quiet. Like, yes, I can have that in the morning, but I don't like morning. And I've learned to be okay with that as long as I'm getting my work done. So I have a daily habit tracker there. And then weekly task tracker by week, meaning the stuff I need to do week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Again, these are a little bit behind right now because we just got back. So, and then of course the monthly habit tracker, along with things that I can post on my team pages, and then stuff for myself, like personal development, 8 parties, 4 recruits, and my personal coaching call. Yes, as a superstar director, I still think that we all need coaching calls, whether it's with another leader, another upline, your own, it doesn't matter. Find someone. It just keeps you in check. I hadn't had one and I don't even know how long. And I had one with my superstar director, Jen Audette, and it just opened my eyes to a lot of things because we can't get better and we can't grow if we're always looking through our own binoculars. You can't. You have to let someone else take a look in and say, why don't you try this? Or why don't you do this? because we tend to put on our blinders and think, well, this is the only way I'm doing this. This is, even if it's not working. It's so funny that we can't say, this really hasn't worked. Like, let's be honest. I like doing it that way, but it really hasn't worked for me. So time to adjust. Then I have, of course, a new consultant checklist, which I think is super important, to go through all of your new consultants and check off all of the important things in their first 30 days. A rising director checklist. If you're a director, identifying other directors, super important. And then an inactive consultant tracker. You want to keep track of the people that go inactive so that if something comes up or there's a promo or whatever, you've built those relationships. You can see if they want to come back. And then, of course, a dream team list. And then I still have to add a bulk sample checklist, bulk sampling at the beginning of the month to make sure you get all those samples done. And then finding a system so that super important if you're new, having a grab and go system. You cannot run your business going, oh my God, I need a sample pack, and like grabbing things from everywhere. You need to have those things pre-done. And that can be as simple as Scentsy Soak and a join brochure and a product sheet, but it needs to be in whatever bag you're going to put it in. Do at least 10 of them every month. Tell yourself that's what you're going to give out, or whatever the case may be. But you should have team welcomes, thank yous. What's the other one? Oh, party. If you're doing Heather's party and sending out sample packs, like all of that stuff needs to be done, because you'll be constantly chasing your tail if you try to do that stuff on the go, dumping in washer whips, or you need to make your samples, decide what you have, use your free and half price stuff to dump back into your business for samples and things that you need. And there's a tracker, of course, that goes through. Did I do sample soak, Scentsy Soak? Yes. Did I do washer whiffs? Did I do counter cleaner? And of course, doing whatever is in your budget, but do that stuff if you're watching Netflix, you can make samples. Like, I bring that cart, I grab my bags, I'm dumping Scentsy Soak or doing whatever I can do. Like, use your time wisely. I mean, that's, and something I've told my team members before is that's kind of monotonous, non-thinking work, right? So that's not stuff that you should be doing during the day when you can be talking to team members and customers. That's stuff when you're doing on football Sunday, I'm making samples and watching football. Netflix, I'm making samples and doing other stuff, because you don't want to waste your hours during the day when you can be connecting with your team members and your customers, making samples and telling yourself, I'm working my business. Because yes, in the big picture, samples will get you customers and people trying stuff, but it's the building relationships and the connections that is going to grow your team and turn those VIPs. You should be spending those extra times in whatever system you're using with your customers and with your team. I say at every training call, your customers and your team will mirror what you do. And so you using your time during the day to stay connected with them, even if it's just, remember, there's a difference between check-in and follow-up. Check-in is just, hey, how's it going? How are things going? How was her graduation? How did the drive-by parade go? How are you doing when you went to Target today? Like, having those conversations is what's going to make people, including your team, know you, like you, and trust you. And that's what keeps them coming back. That's what keeps your team connected to you. That's what lets your team know you care. That's what lets your customer knowing you care. So although making samples is important and doing all these trackers and things like that is important, you need to ask yourself in everything you do, is this growing my team? Is this building my customer base? And not lying to yourself by saying, but I'm making samples, it's going to go to my customers. I'm doing my trackers, it's going to keep my business organized. Yes, but during the day, you need to be growing your team, making those connections, building your business. And on those systems, like I had 14 recruits last month. A big portion of those came from my VIP system, my VIP binders. So choose your system and work it. This isn't the only system. This is a system. So figure out whose or what's, or this was something I sat in my office and just said, okay, what is the most important to me and what will work? So my VIP system and engaging with new people on Instagram. I was going to talk about social media tonight, but I just wanted to drop this in here. Instagram is my favorite platform. It's where I spend the most time. I don't follow a ton of Scentsy consultants because I don't want to see marketing flyers and marketing. I want to get to know the person. So if it's a Scentsy consultant that reaches out and we start talking, then 9 times out of 10, I will follow them. But I don't just randomly follow a bunch of Scentsy consultants because those people aren't going to join my team and they're not going to be a customer of mine, right? So I spend my time engaging with people on Instagram that I have things in common with. Other people who have dachshunds, people that live in Maine, people that like lobster, people that do social media, people that have business accounts, people that do home decor. I spend a lot of time looking at their pictures, commenting, liking. If they have a small business, I buy from them. Tons of small business owners that I've met through Instagram are now either customers or people that have done other direct sales businesses. They've become VIPs, and then they join my team. So spend more time engaging and really putting the time in with your customers and people you're talking to. A lot of people pick up Instagram and go, but I post every day. That's good. But how are you engaging with other people first? It's not just about what you post and what you're putting out there. If there's something pretty powerful, if you go on Instagram and be like, wow, I love that comforter on your bed. That's so cute. Oh my gosh, your dog's so cute. How old is he? Oh, I loved Key West. When's the last time you went? People are going to respond. They're going to start talking to you. They're going to go back to your account to see what you do. One, it shouldn't be plastered with marketing flyers. That will never work. But you spending time to go through people you have stuff in common with and actually taking the time while you're laying in bed watching Netflix and all the things and being like, wow, that sunset is beautiful. What part of Texas were you in? Oh my gosh, my daughter graduated too. What school did she go to? The engagement part is what's going to bring you new people. And yes, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You need to make a serious commitment if you want to use social media to find new customers, to engage and follow people you have things in common with and make those connections. It takes time. I definitely spend an hour every day engaging with people I follow or new people on here. But after a while, the hamster wheel starts moving a little faster. It's hard for some people to get that kind of Instagram brain, like, posting everything and tracking everything. But I've gotten most of my new customers from Instagram and just posting beautiful pictures and connecting with people that have interests the same as me. It is a great tool. You just have to be able to use it the right way. And that doesn't just have to be Instagram. If your thing's YouTube, get consistent on YouTube. Go to town. You don't have to be everywhere, guys. You just have to be a couple places really, really well and pick the ones that you like. Because if you don't like doing certain things, if you hate Trello, you're not going to use Trello for follow-up. If you hate binders and pencil and paper, you're not going to stay consistent. So in anything you do when it comes to systems, one, decide if you like it or don't, figure out how your brain works, and be willing to identify when it's not working and find a new way or adjust it. Most of you are so creative. You can adjust that spreadsheet. You can adjust these binders. You can use the filing system or don't use the filing system. You can use Google Docs for things, or you don't have to. There's no blueprint. The key to this is, am I being consistent, and is it getting me where I want to go? So I think systems is super important. Clean out all the stuff that you don't use and don't get hung up on what one person is using and think that you're a failure if their system didn't work for you. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to throw those out there. You guys can unmute yourselves, I think, or Heather, if you have anything.
Well, I'm just realizing that I have to get a system in place. Like, I am doing it all wrong.
It just feels better too. I will say this, like, I was like, oh, I got this. I can do it this way. But once, like, I would set days, or I was able to just grab these and I put all their phone numbers in my phone, I could just flip through and text people, even on a Sunday. It just makes it easier than pulling up the workstation all the time and figure out, oh, she ordered, let me text her. Let me randomly text her.
Yeah, I am old school pen and paper girl. So notebooks, I think, would work great for me because I'm more paper and pen.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Hi, Jilly. This is Teresa. First of all, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I love seeing almost everything that you do, and I find it very interesting that that small little tiny binder system that you use for your customers that has all the information and stuff printed out. That's exactly what I originally started doing when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went through a slump in my business and I threw everything away and had my temper tantrum and I didn't go back to it. But seeing you do that tonight, I'm going back to that because it really and truly does work. But I loved it. I loved being able if a customer texts me, flip their name open in my book and look at everything. I mean, it was right there.
Yeah.
So, but my question to you is about the Happy Planner.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a hole punch specifically for that?
Yeah, it
Okay,
looks
there
like,
is. I
it
was
looks,
wondering.
yeah, it's on Amazon. I think it's probably like $30, but instead of a traditional hole punch, it makes the holes like this. So you just stick an 8.5 by 11 and it crunches it so that it fits on the rings just like this.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah,
You're
that was my
welcome.
main thing needed. Thank you.
You can probably watch too. Sometimes they have them at Hobby Lobby or Joann's and watch for that coupon and you can get a coupon
Oh
discount.
no, I'm not allowed in Hobby Lobby. I spend too much money.
Me neither.
Amazon. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and guys, I just printed these and I have the document. I'm in you guys' group so I can post all this stuff. This is literally all I did was I used my label maker because again, I didn't want it to be messy, and I just I use my label maker for their name. I put their phone number. When I write their phone number in, that is my conscious check that I put them in my phone. And then I put VIP club host join because you want to flip through and say, okay, they're in my VIP group. That's good. But they don't have club yet and they love beach. I'm going to make sure I message her and be like, girl, you love beach. It's going away. Let's get you in Scentsy Club. Guys, if you're not offering Scentsy Club, or if you're not offering it because you don't know about Scentsy Club, learn about Scentsy Club. There's nothing better than seeing your PRV pop up to $500, $600, $700 because of those Scentsy Club memberships, and you didn't even have to do anything. And they're sticking with it every single month because they don't want to lose those bars. So having a quick glance of if they're in Scentsy Club, I want to make sure that they're top priority too, flipping through. And I sometimes put a Post-it note of they get happy mail every single month when their Scentsy Club goes through. And I also want to be able to say, I want to roll out the red carpet to those things. I'm going to send them a random bar or a random gift. That's extra PRV where you didn't have to really do any of the work. They just have their Scentsy Club going and you're getting the credit for that. So VIPs and club, yes, you want parties, but those are two that I stay on top of every single month. And the binder allows me to do that. It's seriously a game where I'm like, okay, I want to get all of these people in my 3-month binder because that means they're repeat customers. And it just makes the business easier when you are not easier, but when you have your same people ordering from you over and over again, guess what? Those customers that are ordering over and over again are also the ones you should be planting the seeds like, girl, why are you paying me this commission? Join my team so you can get a check. Repeat customers are your best potential recruits. Anyone else? And I'll snap pictures. I have some on my Instagram account, but I'll snap a picture of the shoe rack. And then the underneath here, I just got one of those cheap, you guys can see it right there. One of those, everyone has them little square things in those little square, whatever you call it. Those are, those are my welcome packets, my thank you packets, my join packets. It's done. There's stuff for the month and I just grab and go whenever I have to throw something in the mail. And then I'll take pictures of all of my poly mailers are in there, all of my paper, all of my envelopes, but only what I need. Every other drawer got cleaned out and I threw stuff away. My keepsakes and my milestone stuff, I put in a big tub. I feel like I'm in a kindergarten. When you keep a kindergartner's tub of drawings and stuff, that's my Scentsy bin full of stuff where I don't even know how long I'll keep that stuff because how often do you really look at it? It's after the initial thing,
It's true. How many lanyards can we own for real?
I have my reunion ones only hanging in there and they're great to look at because of all the ribbons. But there's people that have kept every world tour, every leadership, time to let the lanyards go.
Yeah, I am purging. And I even save all my little certificates, but really I have the charms in a jar, but the certificates are in here in a thing stacked up like this. Like, if I am dead and gone, my son is not saving these. They're going in the trash. So I'm going to throw them in the trash for him. That's my philosophy of 2020.
These are the IKEA drawers from Alex drawers from IKEA, and they're good. I mean, some of them are deep, some of them are not, but like this drawer has all my stamps, so I can grab that. This drawer has all my stickers, and then the third drawer has literally the sleeves for this, so that if I get a new customer, I can grab the sleeve, grab the paper, shove it in my binder. So I wanted every drawer to make it so that I didn't have to get up and grab anything. And everything else in there is just mailing, you know? So I get rid of all the other stuff. Like drawers were just filled with useless stuff that didn't make any sense. So, you know, someone taught me before, if it's a milestone and stuff you want to keep it, of course. But if it's just, if you should feel productive walking into your workspace, whatever it is, you should feel motivated and inspired. And I just know when there's stuff everywhere, this allows me to easily identify what I'm going to work on every single minute of the day. Like, here's my trackers, I'm going to do that. Here's my customers, here's my front line, here's my daily plan. And that's it. And then my director binder, I'll take a picture of that for you guys. And then I always just have a yellow notepad, taking notes of whether I'm watching a training or things I want to share with you guys. I don't keep notebooks and stuff. I just keep these little pads. I have a whole drawer of them, get them on Amazon, like $12 for 24 of them. And that's where I scribble and take notes. And then I transfer this stuff to whether it's a training, whether I type it up. And that's it. I got rid of everything else just to keep things neat. I mean, it's really short of mailing stuff. You really don't need a ton. You just need to be able to work a system that's going to allow you to be consistent in whatever you're doing.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I have some systems, but you know, hearing some of those, I'm like, I totally need something like that. But not having started at the beginning, and like, you know what I mean? Like, so now to start, like, I mean, I have a Frontline Binder, but I don't use it. So is that, you know, like, is it effective? It's not. I've got to figure out some other way to do it. But like, where you start at someone, like, let's just say you're going to start a Frontline Binder again. Okay. How far back do you go? Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems like an overwhelming task to start and have, you know what I mean, to go back. How many months do you go back? Those kind of things.
So,
or do you just start fresh right today?
No, well, kind of. So when we did these at first, we were like, whoa, this is a lot. I mean, remember, because we had to fill out. So these binders that we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they only have 12 slots for each person. So it's based on a month's worth of when you start. So we started these in September, filling out their month PRV, how many recruits, their group volume, their group size, and their title. And then at the bottom, it tells you, you know, how often what you mail to them and how often you touch base with them. I started right in September when we did this. You know, you're only going to go back a year. And to be honest with you, like, I haven't filled a few of these people's forms out since February. So I'll just go back and fill in. It won't be perfect all the time. You'll have months where you fall behind and you do whatever. But when we were doing this, I mean, Heather will agree, we were going through and like, whoa, I didn't even realize this about this person. So I know this system works. I refuse to give up on the Frontline Binder yet. I just have to get more in a place where I say, okay, when is a good time for me to fill this out? Is it when we're watching Netflix and I'm just filling this? Because that's, again, it's kind of, you know, you're just filling out stats. It's more me. Like, I know the system will work, and it allowed me to really keep up on mail and touch base with them. This form I love, like I said, it's only for a year. So I know I'm like, oh God, I got to start this over again coming up soon because we're already in June. So that's only 3 more months. But I would just say, start where you are. Start anywhere that's going to allow you to touch base with your front line and connect with them again. And you know, I even said to myself, okay, every person that's in here, I'm going to start in June, and I'm going to make sure we do a Zoom call. So even though I didn't fill out like February, March, April, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start again. Like, you can't go backwards and beat yourself up if you have 3 blank spots. Just start where you are and keep on going, because it's about consistency moving forward. It's not about bashing yourself from what you didn't do. I would say just jump in and do it and figure out how you can make the system work. Because Again, this system isn't a bad system. I'm the bad functioner of the system. I just have to make it more of a priority. But now that I have this planner and stuff, I'm probably going to make like Sunday night, whatever day. I need to figure out what day is going to be my frontline fill out day, where I fill this all out and take a mental note of when I want to touch base with them.
Yeah.
And Michelle, you could run a team report where it gives the 2 things of your top PRV and your top sponsors of your team for that month. That might be a good place where you start, and don't even make it your frontline yet. Focus on those people that are sponsoring and selling.
Yeah.
And keep track of those 10 people and focus with them only, because there could be 42 frontline that aren't doing shiz that are not going to impact you getting to director again. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You got to focus where the production is happening.
And that's the thing too. Like, that's a great point. You know, start anywhere, you guys. It could be starting with, if you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to focus on my Fab 5.
Yeah.
Go in at Fab 5 and I'm just going to track what they're doing and see what they're doing, do a Zoom call with those Fab 5 and start there. And then you can expand. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to, if you have I have 105 frontline, you know what I mean? Like, for someone just starting tomorrow that's never done this, that could be a little overwhelming. For those of you that have your first 2 frontline, start now. I don't care if you have one, get your pages going, or pull your, like, if you're more of a report person, you just want to pull a report every month, do that, insert it in your binder. I mean, I have a team list right here where I was for a while just exporting it off my workstation every month. And that's how I worked it. If you're more of this type of person, that can be your frontline binder too. It's however you want to work it. But if 42 frontline is too much for you right now, or even 2, start with your first 2 or first 5 and then just grow it from there. Whatever's going to keep you consistent with a system that works and getting you in the habit. Well,
and creating the results for you. Like, I know you, Michelle, because I've talked to you. I know you. And girl, I would start with the 10 on each list. And it doesn't even have to be your front line. You just need to focus on getting people sponsoring to where you see some, like Jill's saying, like, track their stuff, where you see them getting excited and coach with them, because when they get excited and start creating results, you get excited.
Yeah. No, that's the best suggestion, because I do have 20 frontline, but a whole bunch of them are not doing anything.
And that's okay for them.
It is. But it's overwhelming for me to think, okay, so I've got to touch base with them once every month, and it's like I'm giving into something that's not, do you know what I mean? And not that they don't matter, because they do.
Horse to drink water. You can't lead a horse to drink water. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of the same idea as customer binders, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like your active people are in the 3 months, and you have the other people in this binder, and it's not that they're not important, but you're always going to kind of put this binder as a priority, because those are your paying customers every single month. And then when you have time, you touch base with the other ones. You don't let them fall behind.
Way to put it.
Yeah. You don't let them
fall. Getting a Christmas card. Okay. I'm not cutting you off.
you don't let, they're still important. They're still, hobbyists are still important to your business. You don't want them to fall out, but they're going to be, and this is when you do these trackers and you do these binders and you put the systems in place, it gives you a visual that allows it to be less overwhelming.
Yeah.
So if all I can do when I go on vacation is take my 3-month binder, that's all. And this is all I took. This is what I took.
That's what I love, is that it's small chunk. It's not.
And on the way down, like, that's who I texted was my 3-month people, so it doesn't have to be everything, but just in little bite-sized pieces so that it doesn't overwhelm you and you can actually stay consistent with it.
But I think I get the same way, where I'm like, it's all or nothing. It's a mentality of conquer all. And in this business, it's not. And I think that is the biggest downfall, is that you compare yourself to what all these other people are doing. You look around and you see, how are you managing all of this and doing all this? And either I'm an alcoholic, or I don't sleep, or something, or I'm a robot, right? It's got to be something I'm leading to, right? Because it's not human nature of that I move at the speed I'm moving. But at the same time, it's like, I can't do it all. Like, I physically have so many lists right now that it's now stressing me out. And I'm like, well, screw it all. I'll just get it when I do get it done. And I don't need to get to that point, right? So that's why I love the binders of being so small, because it makes me figure, I need to be focusing on what's going to build my team and get me where we all need to be on promotions. And the only thing that's going to get that is sponsoring and sales, like really sponsoring.
I know a couple of my social media people and team members used to get super overwhelmed by lists, and I taught them a trick that I used to do in my office, and it was to get a small dry erase board, one of those small ones, and every night or every morning, you just put the top one to 5 things or 3 top things that you need to get done for that day. If a list overwhelms you, because if you start making huge lists like this, like that just gets crazy. So you say to yourself, mail out top PRV cards, touch base with 10 frontline, text 10 customers. Boom. 1, 2, 3, you get those done. Those are the most important. Then you can move on to other things. That worked amazing for me for a little while, because I was like, wow, I was feeling accomplished. And I was putting a priority on talking to people, because if we don't, we'll get sucked into the things that are fun to do. Like, I think samples are super fun, but it's also mindless work. You're just filling and labeling. And yes, in the big picture, that will grow your business, but you have to be talking to people in one form or another, whether it's texting, voice chat, videos, Instagram, DMs, one way or another. If you want your business to grow, you have to be talking to your team, customers, or finding new people every day.
So true. I'm going to get me a small dry erase board now, and clean my office, and get small binders and get a system.
There are binders on Amazon. Well, they're from Staples, but they're like great. I mean, these little ones, and Heather and I also put all the scratch and sniff.
Oh yeah, the rub and smell.
Rub and smell fit perfectly in here in these little sleeves, so you can fit them all in here. And I organize them by season, so all your rub and smells can fit in here. And then I have a big binder for my labels, and then all of my 70-day forms for my people go in a bigger Frontline binder, but I move them like a 70-day one so that I can go back and see where they came from, different than my Frontline binder, but that's in there. It's not one that I access all the time. These are the ones that, and if you look at it, really, it's customers, team, plan, trackers. Like, that's how I broke it down. Customers, team, plan my day, trackers. That, because you have to know numbers, you have to know where you are. And if you're have the trackers there, you're going to write that stuff down, and then your customers build your business, your team builds your business, and then planning your day allows you to know where you're going every day.
Juanita, they're not on Amazon. They're on staples.com.
They are. I have links. You can get these on Amazon too.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
I love it.
Anything you find anywhere, if there's a vendor that does it, a lot of times they will sell on Amazon. Just type in the same title of it in Amazon first, and a lot of times they'll pop right up.
I even did my new team member packets in the better binder. So like, I know if what all goes in them, and all the contents are in there where I can cut and just assemble if I ever need to. Like, it literally is grab and go. This I have done a binder for, and that does help me.
Yeah, I like.
I know the binder system works, but I need a smaller scale, like you're talking about. That just moving it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, doing these, I started with the first 3 months of orders because, creating one of these for every customer does take a little bit, but it allowed me to say, okay, I haven't literally checked in with every single customer in so long. So I'm going to accept that this is going to take a little bit of time, and take the time to check in with each customer.
Well, even if it's 3 a day, right? I could check in with 3 customers a day easily.
Yeah. I mean, that just allows you to go back and check in with everybody so that you can say, look, I haven't done this in a while the way I should have. So I'm just going to accept that each one of these is going to take a little bit, and I'm going to really just check in and follow up. Yeah. And I mean,
I need to do that and just do bite-sized chunks instead of the all or nothing.
Yep. I will have all the links to all of the stuff that I use. And I will post it all and take pictures for you guys too after I upload this to YouTube.
I have so many notes. This is ridiculous. I just went to a training and I love it. It feels good.
Yeah. I mean, it's for the past 2 months coming in here. I'm like, I mean, minus that desk, which is I was going to use just for blogging, but it seemed to turn into my sample desk. I've actually been okay with it because it's kept the samples off here and I can actually work better. But that, again, it goes back to that. Find what works for you and be okay with it. And don't compare yourself to anyone else being like, well, she doesn't do it that way and she got 10 recruits this month. That's okay. If you stick with your systems, what's going to get you 10 recruits is putting systems in place and sticking with them. That's what's going to get you to where you want to go.
Yeah. And parties.
Plus, like today, I sent messages to a bunch of people that I've never talked to on Facebook in a long time. I don't remember how they friended me or anything. And I asked them, I said, do you know anyone that could benefit from extra income with all the stuff going on? And, you know, I've had a few of them write me back, and a few said, I don't know, but I'll, you know, post it on my Facebook page and send them your way and stuff like that. I haven't heard back from all of them, but I started working on doing that today.
Yeah. I mean, if you never ask, the answer's always no. Right. And we can't get attached to the outcome of it. We just, you know, ask them if they want cake and move on to the next wedding guest. That's the way you have to think of it.
I'll take their cake.
Yeah. I'll take their cake too.
I will.
Well, my almost 15, well, actually she is 15 years old. She told me today, she's like, why won't they join? I mean, you just made, you know, X number of dollars today, and you didn't work, you know, nearly enough for me to consider you actually working last month, you know, from what I could see. And she's like, so why not ask them? There's so many people in this town that's on, you know, welfare or don't have jobs, or always complaining on Facebook that I can't get a job and I need a job. She's like, why not?
We were talking about that today after everybody got paychecks. People are getting their biggest paychecks in history. Like, can you even believe we get paid to do wax and warmers and stay on Zoom with our friends all day? Are we really getting paid for this? Like, I'm smelling a wax bar, for crying out loud.
I broke it down, and I think the amount of time I spent in May, it was paying me about $25 an hour. That's almost what my husband's making now.
Like, it's kind of insane that we make the money we make doing what we do. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is insane. Wax and warmers.
Yep. And it's we all have it, you know, guys, like, I think of all the things. I even look back, like, if you have a digital footprint of doing anything online, and I was like, wow. And I was a social media marketer. I didn't have a clue what I was doing 11 years ago. So the blueprint is never one person's blueprint. The system and the way you run your business is going to change light years from today, a year from now, 2 years from now. You're going to find something new, add it, grow, evolve, take it away, fall on your face, stand back up. Like, it's just a process. And
so I'm not going to give names, Jill, but the way that you just said that, like, you just gave me the biggest aha in my life. So there was probably, how many people did we talk to today? 1 year. We compared 1 year from today. One person we talked to, their paycheck quadrupled. Another's doubled. Another's doubled and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think too, what was the other ones? What was the other ones? I'm not going to name names or people or numbers, but in 1 year, like comparing June 2019 to June 2020, that's how much their business changed.
I had back surgery this time last year, and mine quadrupled from where I was last year. And it just kind of shows you.
I rejoined.
It just kind of
I rejoined this time last year.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of shows you that the trials and tribulations of life and things you're going to go through, like, it's not a perfect straight shot to the top. It's going to literally look like this all over the place. And from the people you surround yourself with, to the people you watch, to what you're doing, to the support you have at home, like, everything will change month to month to month. All you can do is dive in and learn and take bits and pieces from everybody and apply and move forward and fall on your face and do it over again. Like, it's just, and from here, you know, some of us could backtrack depending on what's going on, or you just have to keep moving.
I told my husband today, I said, it's funny. I said the first, you know, 5, or actually more than 5 years, because this year will be 10 years, but the first longest period, I said, it took forever to even hit star. Like, I took forever, and I've done it just since I really stuck my nose in and really started working it, September. And I've already hit star again, because I started over when I left from the bottom again. And all of a sudden I'm hitting it. I'm like, I'm hitting milestones way faster, way better. I am doing better, and I'm getting braver, because now I'm taking pictures of myself and posting them.
Can I tell y'all something? I wasn't paid at title. So a lot of y'all are probably discouraged too of not hitting a certain rank, or I can't get my first recruit, or I was a director and now I'm not, and I'm trying to work my way back there. Does anybody want to guess how long I was not paid at title? As superstar director. Let's just take a little gander. Who's going to win this contest?
I would win, but I know the
5
answer.
months.
How long?
5 months.
Nope.
Longer?
Maybe.
Ooh.
A year.
Nope. Longer. Who else?
No, longer?
3 years.
Longer.
5 years?
5 years.
Longer.
Oh my God, really?
Oh, is somebody shocked? Would y'all have never, ever even guessed that?
No, not in a million years.
6 years and 3 months I was not paid at title consecutively. It just came back, this paycheck is the first month I've been paid at title. 6 years and 3 months.
And that's a lot of extra money too if you don't get paid at title.
But here's the thing. I was focusing on things that were not going to get me back to where I needed to be. And it took me a long time to realize that. So your timeline in your head and what you think you should be doing, you've got to really make sure it's getting to where you need to be and you're doing the things that are going to create the results that you want to change. Because we are in hyper growth and big things are happening really fast. And Cynthia's on here, that's one of them. Alyssa Hancock was another. She went from certified to a director in 1 month.
I watched something today and it actually breaking it down, the way it was broken down to me made way more sense than I've thought about in the last 10 years that I've been trying to achieve it. But it was like, all it is 4 stars underneath you, 4
Yep.
people active underneath you, and then them 4 more people and 2 parties each, and you hit director.
If you will just focus on getting everybody to star consultant underneath you, that's exactly what it is. It's Christina Steinbrook's system. And I'm going to tell you, it
That
works.
might be who it was.
But I'm going to tell you, I lost I had 4 frontline directors. 2 of them were out of my control and they left. One joined another direct sales company, got divorced, had a baby. The other, it passed on to these other people, the directorship. They're not involved in it. It was out of my control. The numbers were hit every single month, but I needed 4 frontline directors. That's all it was. So don't give up is what I'm telling you, because I'm almost 11 years in, and out of the 11 years, 6 years, 3 months, I was not paid at title. But it can come back in less than 30 days. From what you do right now to next month to a year from today is life-changing. Mark my words. And if any of y'all are in my group and you want coaching calls, you tell me, Kathy, Michelle Kimball again. I'm telling you, we're going to do them. That's kind of like, we're going to do them. We're going to share the cake.
Because filling out those coaching forms, like most of us do a coaching form when we send it to you, and really writing down like, whoa, what was my GWV last month? And what was my, a lot of us are just like, get the sales, put them in. We're not really paying attention. Oh, am I close to promoting? Like, you have to know where you're at and know where you're going each level. You don't need to focus on what you need to get to superstar director, but you should focus on what you need the next month, and really saying to yourself and seeing the picture of like, okay, if I focus on my top 5 or 6 and who's got it, who is wanting to get director, who should I focus on? And really, Jen Audette told me that like everything that you do, every single task you do every day, is this building my business? And really identifying with, if it's sample making, knowing that yes, it is, but going back to
It's not income producing.
Training your team and being with your customers are what's going to grow your business.
Well, it's like handing out samples without giving people's information. I mean, you just wasted your whole life away. Why did you just hand out samples you didn't know who the heck you gave them to? Like you just wasted money.
And
time.
see, that was my light bulb today too. I was sitting down still talking to my daughter, and we were sitting at the dinner table talking to each other about everything. And she goes, when we go out, because you never leave the house, you pretty much live at home all the time and work on the farm. She goes, but when we do go out, she goes, you need to hand stuff out. And I said, I do, but my problem's getting their information back. She goes, make yourself a note, do something, because it's when you don't receive something back because they walk off with the catalog and go, yeah, I love to forget, they get busy. And that's where my weakest point is, because I rarely do go out, but when I do go out, I am not making it effective enough.
Is she a robot or am I the robot?
No, she's a robot.
Okay. I still understand robot talk a little. I'm putting those robot pieces together, so I know what you're saying. But
It's on the farm way out there.
like you're wasting time.
My
You are
data
wasting
sucks.
precious time. I'm not even kidding. Like, and you have to get out of your house, Brandy. I'm going to tell you right now. You said you don't get out often. You need to change that.
Or
I have
you
nowhere
need
to go.
Or you step up the social media part, like, you know what I mean? And it's making an active choice to connect with people online and just find, like, you know, if you look at my highlights on Instagram, guys, all of those highlights represent things that are important to me in my life, whether it's coffee or weight loss or like wellness or tea or whatever it is. And then I find people in those highlights that I have things in connection with. And then I just start talking to them. Oh my God, I love your comforter. Oh my gosh, where did you get your shoes? Oh my gosh, I love your baby goat. Oh, like, you just have to engage. And it seems funny, but on Instagram is a very giving platform, which will allow total strangers just to talk to you, and it's okay.
Yeah, they're brave.
And see, when I go out though, so my husband gets paid, you know, every 2 weeks. I go grocery shopping every 2 weeks. I've got to change my mindset to make sure that, and I go out, I have either my Scentsy hat on, my Scentsy purse, my Scentsy wallet, my Scentsy shirt. I'm decked out, but I'm so zoned in on getting the groceries I need to get in there, get out, because the people irritate me that I'm running into, or, you know, or the kids, or them being irritating, that I'm not thinking enough about. I need to make sure that I make connections while I'm out.
What if that biggest bee that's grabbing the last mashed potato or toilet paper off the shelf is your next recruit that's a director?
Mm-hmm. People tell me all the time when they say, like,
really focus.
Well, I can't do Instagram because I can't, you know, take pictures of what I'm doing every day. Yes, you can. It's a conscious choice. Like, if you are, instead of thinking of it that you're going to go grocery shopping and that's your end goal, you're going to make a new goal. Grocery shopping is going to be the side goal, but your front goal is to talk to 3 people.
Yeah.
And you have to make a conscious effort of your why and what you want and getting to your goal. It's easy to say, oh, they annoy me and I don't want to talk to them. I just want to get in, get out. The kids are bugging me. No matter what happens, your goal is to talk to 3 people. And I used to say, you don't happen to like candles, do you? Especially if they're in there smelling Febreze and all the air fresheners. Like, you can literally be like, hey, try this, check out this sample, you'll love it, or whatever. And then strike up conversation. And, oh my God, I love your shoes. Like, talk to 3 people and see what it turns into.
And I know it's not hard. Yeah, I know it's not hard, because the 2 people that I know the most that works at the Starbucks that's inside our Smith's grocery store, they bought from me multiple times because they're
robot.
Yeah. You're a robot again, but we love you. It's okay.
We love you.
You can always say, are these instant potatoes good? I've never had these. Have you had these before?
Yeah.
Just talk about what you're buying. Whatever product's in your hand, you find the nearest person and ask if it's good.
So true.
Aha moments.
Anyone else? You guys have been on forever.
This is an 1.5 hour Zoom call. I love it. This is
Okay.
just hang out. I'm going to go make spaghetti.
I'm going to take pictures of everything for you guys. I have to go make cookies.
Oh, yum.
I'm going to take pictures of everything. I'll post it in your group for you guys so you guys can see everything. Stuff will be on Instagram too if you want to see stuff over there. I will take pictures and have links of all the stuff that I use, and then just chalk it up as one of the inspirations where you create your own systems, like, and message me. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with, because again, to me, these could change tomorrow if someone has something better that will work for me. So it's always going to change. Just find stuff that makes you happy when you do it. Like, I literally, seriously, when I can move someone from the 9-month binder to the 3-month binder, it literally brings me joy. So I know this is the system.
That's rewarding.
Yeah. Because I'm like, get them all in here, get them all in here, get them all in here. And that's what makes it good. If it's something where you're dreading every day, you're never going to stay consistent with it. So just find the things that work for you.
I would use that system for real.
I'll help you. I have I'll
Because
post
I'm the person that if I write something down on my list and I'm like, oh, what, this wasn't on my list, I'll go write it on my list just so I can cross it off.
Yeah,
So
me too. Yeah.
that's how I know that moving the paper will work for me.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah.
Okay, you guys. I'm online. I'm in your group. Tag me if you have a question. I'll take pictures of this stuff. I'll link my documents, all the things for you guys. My group, you know, you'll get everything. So if you need anything, I'm just a message away.
I love it. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, guys. I'll see you on the other
Thank
side.
you.
Night, everyone.